Okay, how we've developed unhealthy habits. There's so many people that go, I did this because I was told to. I was trained like this. This is all that I knew. Absolutely. Makes absolute sense. It happens. But how did we develop those habits? Why do they stick with us for so long? Simply understanding why they're here with us still is going to help you keep yourself in check as you develop healthier habits. So let's talk about it. We've been conditioned to accept someone else's bad habits. 90% of the house with created have been through some of the other person's influence. Oh, okay. Here's what I'm saying. Let me say that again. 90% of our habits were created or have been through some other person's influence or circumstances based on our living arrangements. You don't have to own them. So a very extreme example of that is you started smoking or you started drinking because your parents did that. That happened. I started smoking cigarettes when I was a kid too. I started drinking alcohol when I was a kid too. I started at 8 years old. My dad gave it to me, right? My mom smokes, still smokes. She's 60 something, right? So we look at those habits, we look at what's conditioned, and then we go, oh, that's normality. That's normal. That's acceptable. People that we respect or people that we give our emotions to, they influence us. So you look at the way that you treat other people, the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to others, the way you eat food, the way you go outside, the way you experience movies, all of this stuff is conditioning. Someone else was doing it, and because you gave them the power unwillingly, that became a part of who you are. This is where, for example, this is where a lot of people pick up interesting language. You hang out with me enough, you'll start saying the word dope. That's dope, bro. Faux show, bro. Oh, yeah, bro. Uh-huh. You'll start picking up those habits. Simply by osmosis. By being in the same room with me long enough, your energy is going to change, your vibrations are going to change, you are going to amplify. Everything is going to shift for you when you spend enough time with somebody. As a matter of fact, you pick up you become the 5 people you choose to surround yourself with, or that your environment is embodied with. So you look at those people around you and you go, how are these people influencing me? Are these even my habits, or am I literally mimicking the people around me? Take a look at your posture right now. Are you mimicking me right now? If I start to shift like this, are you going to do the same thing? Most of those things happen accidentally, without us knowing it. This is why it's back here. This is why I don't expect you to understand everything that I'm saying and master it as I say it. I want you to understand it to the best of your ability. The point is that the person I'm speaking to is the one that's actually listening, the one back here. This person is listening way more than you are right now. That's because with that influence, it is going to replicate. It will move to the front. And then one day, you're going to be thinking about drinking water and you're going to hear my voice and see that image. That's the programming. That's why it's so important. All right, moving on. Unhealthy environments shape our habitual behavior. Anybody in an unhealthy environment will develop unhealthy habits from a place of safety, paranoia, and the need to please those they claim as an authority. Think about this. Think about this. The kids do it all the time, right? We've got the oldest one, we've got the youngest one. There's only 2 of these things. Why is it that the oldest one acts like the mother to the youngest one? Well, that behavior is mimicking the person that she respects. Mom, right? I don't treat them like that. I don't say that stuff. I wish they mimicked more of what I did. They would be happier people. I wished I had a bigger influence on them. I know that they're paying attention because they come up and they tell me, you think I wasn't listening? I learned. You think I wasn't paying attention? I was there. And then they say these things and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't realize that you were absorbing that. I didn't realize that that became part of who you do and how you say and what you feel. Witty, like when I'm super witty and saying like, jokingly things or whatever, then the little one, she's paying a lot of attention to me. So she says those things or things very similar where the other one doesn't even try, right? But the point is that from a place of authority, when we give people our attention, for instance, if you're listening to me right now and you're going, I respect this person, then you're going to take in a lot of what I say. If you're having a good time with me right now, then you're actually operating 30% better and my impact on you is higher. And this is because you're open to this information. As kids, as human beings that are actively experiencing life to the best of their ability, we mimic whatever is in our environment, right? This is the same way. Think about this. If like a human mimicking like a gorilla or something in the jungle, you act like your surroundings. Act like a tree. The whole point of that is that your environment shapes the habits that you create, such as don't raise your voice, they're going to get upset. Such as watch out for the footsteps, that means they're angry. Such as make sure you eat your food or you're getting pounded on. All of those things, we create habits. We create this eggshell environment because of the environment. This is why certain people will come up to you and tell a whole story to you. You didn't even say anything. This is because you've helped create an environment where they're welcome to say those things. Other people get shut down before they even have an opportunity to speak, so that shapes their habits, the way they think before they act. This is habitual thinking. So look at the way that you've been conditioned. And once again, this goes back to mantra one, just accept it. There's no reason to beat yourself up. There's so many people on TikTok and social media going, I did this because my mother did this. I did this because my mother told me this. There's so many people that were in these institutions that are going, I was told like this. People waking up to new information because that's their environment that conditioned them to think and act the way that they do. Then they start to practice free will, the ability to think on their own and act on their own and be their own human being. That's when they develop their overall oneness, their connection with themselves, their authenticity. That's how we get here, right? Really interesting what happens. Moving forward, we started a healthy habit the right way, then veered off course. So many times we start a healthy habit and don't see the results immediately, which causes us to commit less and dwell more. This pulls us back to the bottle, and time solves all. So we got to think about this. You started a habit. You started going to the gym. You started thinking those healthy thoughts. But one of the things that you didn't do is you didn't practice patience. So you started this healthy thing. You're going, okay, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get outside. I'm going to wake up, all right? I'm going to get up early. I'm going to start my day sooner, and I'm going to eat a healthy breakfast, and then I'm going to drink water, and then I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this stuff. And then the main element between all of those things is patience. You didn't practice the key element that links them all together. So yes, you were doing healthy things, but you didn't get those results. Those results were on the way, but by the time they showed up, you were already over it. So because you didn't get those immediate results, you drank. You punished yourself. You're like, well, it's not doing anything for me. Or what you practiced is finding all the things you hated about the thing. I know it's healthy for me. I know I just need to eat vegetables, but I don't like the texture. I don't like the way it does this. I don't like these things. And you were doing the thing, but you practiced diminishing the value of the thing. So you're like, I don't like it. It's not that you don't like it. You probably do like it. You just practice disconnecting from the results. You practice diminishing the value of the thing and what it does for you because you were not patient enough. Patience is one of those things. Gary Vee says it the best. If there's one thing that I could teach myself at 10 years old, any 10-year-old, is patience. It took me 19 years to become an overnight success. The shoulders, the cuts, the things that you see on me today happened over a 4-year period. They randomly showed up. I did not ask for them. That's not something I worked on. I didn't ask my mind to function the way it does. I just knew that I was destroying it for so long, so I practiced accentuating its abilities, and I do that every single day. That's why so many people pay attention to what I'm up to. They go, I wish I was more like you. The only difference between me and you and me, us, together as one, is I've practiced mastering myself longer than you have. That's it. That's it. There's no difference. You'll be greater than me. You just put the time in, right? But we look at this and we go, we look at this information and go, what am I practicing? What do I want to practice, right? If I can just follow through with drinking water, if I can literally rewrite the code to drinking water, that means that I'm actually programming myself to think healthy. Think about water. Water's good for me. I was punishing myself with alcohol. I'm rewarding myself with water, right? These types of programming is the practice that I'm talking about, because this programming right here is helping you develop healthy habits. The more healthy habits we have, like practicing patience, like drinking water, like practicing kindness and empathy, all of those habits help us become better versions of ourselves. We can't just go, oh, I'm an empathetic person now. You have to practice empathy. You actually have to do that. You actually have to find yourself in the middle of a situation where empathy is the only answer. Here's what's even more challenging. Finding yourself in a situation where empathy is not the answer, but finding a reason to use it anyway. He hit me in the face. He hurt my heart. He hurt my friend. She hit me. She used me. She betrayed me. Whatever that is. And then for you to go, I'm not going to react. I'm going to apply empathy. Understand that that was the best that they could come up with at the time. They're an unhealthy person. Happy people don't do those things. I'm not going to let them get away with it, but I'm not going to give them my emotions. You practice applying empathy. That's where empathy comes from. Practice. So many people are empaths and feel so much, but they don't practice applying empathy. They don't get in the middle of those things. Therefore, they don't master it. The third layer of mastery is teaching. Why do you think I know how to deliver this information so well? It's because I teach it. Because I practice. I've mastered the information by teaching it. If I can teach you, that means I know it. The only way that I can know it is if I do it. You see how that works? Everything is practice. Life, for the rest of your life, you are in a state of practice, whether you're aware of it or not. Moving forward. Subliminal and social pressure and political truths. Just because someone we care about is practicing, this doesn't mean it's our obligation to join the party. Most people have unhealthy habits disguised as accomplishments. Goodness gracious, think about this. Just because I respect you doesn't mean I need to start chewing tobacco. So many people, think about this. I can not make a face drinking alcohol. That is being pawned off as an accomplishment because it's actually dangerous. You don't want to not make a face when you're drinking alcohol. You don't want to be able to chug 24 beers. This is not healthy stuff, but those people are praised for, or glorified for something unhealthy. That paints the picture that that's okay behavior. Joe the Camel type situation, right? Wyatt Earp and his cigarettes, cigars, you know, the whole Western stuff. Tobacco is tobacco. It's bad. It's bad. You just make it look good. And because I respect you and I'm highly influenced by your behavior, then I'll consider doing that. This is why there's infants, kids, shotgunning Mountain Dews because they can't legally get their hands on White Claw. So they do the next most logical thing and act as kids, but with a substance that's less detrimental. Even Mountain Dew isn't a healthy choice. I still drink that stuff on occasion. I reward myself with the sugar because I spend so little time having it. It's a trip the way that works. So we look at our social influences. We look at who we give our emotions to. The people that we respect, the people we've been told we must respect, the people that have been painted to us as an authority, and the people that are considered the icons of our life. I want you to do this at this moment. I want you to think about this. You can get paper or whatever. Watch this again later. I'll put this in your homework. I want you to find 3 people. Only 3. 3 people that you look up to. 3 people that you mimic their personality. You mimic their behaviors. You look at the things they do and go, that's someone that I would like to be like. That's someone that has traits that I would love to develop. If you want to put me on the list, feel free. I'm going to continue showing up for you. You can spend as much time with me as you want. This is yours forever. We can go back and chat, and you can reach out to me, all this stuff, and I will happily do what I can to support you as you take care of yourself. Look at those 3 people that you put down and really think about where they came from. How influential are they to you? I have 3. I'll give you my 3. Do I have 3? I think I have 3. Gary V is my number 1. Gary Vee. When I was on my deathbed, Gary Vee was the voice of reason. He still is a voice of reason. He was the one that helped me develop the mindset and the drive of don't stop. Don't stop. If you stop, you're not moving forward. If you ain't first, you're last. That type of drive. The way he looks at world, he helped me understand what empathy is. He helped me understand business, communication, connection, commiseration, branding, all of these very important things. Storytelling. He's building an empire based in kindness. So am I. The whole world is shifting because of the amount of love that we're giving. I learned that from Gary. I listen to him as often as possible. When I'm bored, which I'm not, when I want to do something that's more powerful, then I'll listen to Gary. I'll play his stuff, right? The other person that I listen to is Frank Kern. If you're not in the marketing world, you wouldn't really know who that is. But Frank Kern is like the inventor of internet marketing. Okay, I was in sales for 19 years, right? I've met thousands of people. I love communication. I love marketing, sales, and advertising. Frank Kern is the one that taught me how to speak to your core. The reason you're here right now is because I know you, and you know me. We make sense. I'm not trying to sell you a hat. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm literally sharing my deepest core with who you are and letting you know that we are the same. We are so similar. We've struggled the same way. We feel a lot of the same stuff. We've been through similar circumstances. The only difference is I have created a blueprint for you to reach a level that I've been at for quite some time now. But that core level, that connection, that empathic realm, that spiritual connection, all of that stuff, I learned that from Frank Kern. One of the most powerful people I've ever met. One of the most successful people in the world, just walking around in flip-flops. Humble as humble gets. And then the last person that I have on my list is Sam Ovens. This is how I learned to become a consultant. This is how I learned to work with businesses, look at people's products and ideas and services, and develop something astronomical. Something from nothing. I had to study him. I had to invest a lot of money in all of these programs, all of these services, from a personal development standpoint before I could even make my first dollar. I had to really, really get involved and learn and study and practice. These are the three people: Frank Kern, Gary Vee, Sam Ovens. They may not be for you, but who knows? You don't know what you like until you like it. Gary Vee is for everybody, though. Some people feel a little funky about it, but I encourage you to look at people. Tony Robbins is another one, right? There's tons of people. But really think about that. Even if it's a friend of yours, even if it's a parent, it doesn't matter. I want you to look at three people, and those are the only people, because these are people you would trade places with. These are people that you highly respect. These are people that are doing it the way that you want to do it. I don't care if it's a famous TikToker, if it's a blogger, it doesn't matter. Pick three people that you really connect with, and then we're eventually going to start mimicking their behavior. You get good at anything you practice. Moving forward, practicing applying our emotions in the wrong places. We feel that because we have an emotion, it needs to be applied somewhere. The only place an emotion must be felt is in our own universe. Share with those you trust. Just because you feel something, it doesn't mean you have to inflict that emotion on other people. When we relate that back to acceptance in the last module, you don't have to accept their infliction of that information on you either. That's their emotion. But just because you feel something, it doesn't mean there's one way to respond. You don't have to respond at all. Your emotions don't have to go anywhere. Nobody needs to know that you feel something. Those are your emotions. People that are highly expressive need their emotions validated, so they talk a lot. They tell you everything because they can't validate their own emotions. So they need to tell you, so you go, yeah, Interestingly enough, the more you listen to that, the more that messes with your emotions. You're like, I'm just trying to process my own stuff and you won't shut up, right? But that's also your environment. You have to take credibility for the fact that you're still there. The fact that that person that's messing or influencing your emotions, you're allowing that to happen. We'll talk about healthy boundaries soon, but that's toxic information. Maybe you're the toxic person. You don't know anyone that's toxic? Accept the possibility that you might be the toxic person. That's perfect, because then you know what to work on. My point with all of this is applying an emotion. Right now, whatever you're feeling right now, I didn't make you feel anything. If you feel nothing, great. If you feel something, even better. I didn't do it. I'm not taking credibility for your success or your insults or anything that you feel. You did this to you. It's your fault why you feel as good or as bad as you did. They're your emotions. I can't force an emotion. Nobody can force an emotion, and you can't force an emotion on somebody else. You also can't force them to think or feel or understand anything. You could only influence, provide the information. You see how I'm waving this around right now? You didn't know this, but I'm influencing you to get thirsty. Now we're consciously aware of this, right? We're drinking. It was your decision to drink or not. How you feel about that information doesn't change anything. Either you drank with me or you didn't. That's your emotion. I'm not upset with you. If you were upset with you, I don't have to be upset with you. I don't have to give you or apply my emotion. As a matter of fact, when I feel something, I'm just going to sit here and let it wash over me. Between 30 and 90 seconds is as long as it's actually going to last. And when you let that emotion wash over you and you give yourself enough time to process it, then we don't give our emotions away. We apply them in the right way, in a healthy way. So many of us have been conditioned to give our emotions to things that don't deserve our energy. It's simply something that we've practiced. We want to practice applying our emotions in another way. We're going to move on.